Hello, BookTube. I want to start off this latest Steve stream with an assurance, an assurance that isn't going to be believable, uh, which is that I did not make yesterday's Steve stream about YouTube in order to fish for compliments. I'm not making any of these YouTube related Steve streams in order to fish for compliments. Believe me, when I want you to compliment me, I will come right on and ask you for it. I don't really traffic in low self-esteem like so many of you do. You primates always mystify me. But uh, nevertheless, although I wasn't fishing for compliments, I got a lot of them. I am still in the process of getting a lot of them. The people emailing me because yesterday's Steve stream was about how you watch broader YouTube and why you do it. What draws you to the channels that you do? The ones that you watch just for background music, fine. The ones that you watch for tutorials, or to unwind, fine. But also the ones you watch for personal connection. And there were a handful of names that kept coming up over and over again in terms of the channels that you watch for personal connection. And a lot of you were emailing me those lists. I said in that Steve stream that I wanted those lists. I want detailed stuff. I've also poured over the comments of that video to make lists of things to explore. I don't imagine that our tastes are going to be the same. I don't imagine I'm going to end up subscribing, but I want to see all the stuff that's out there. And I'm especially interested in the stuff that looked like it actually does coincide with interests of mine. Uh, but I asked for those kinds of detailed lists, and I've been swamped with emails from people giving them to me, even some being kind enough to send me links. And a lot of people have been answering the question of why they watch the channels that are under the specific heading of the personal connection channels. So not background music, not finding out, where a train derailed or something like that. And a lot of the same names kept coming up, comparing to me. And that is incredibly complimentary. I wasn't being compared to any jerks, which is kind of amazing and incredibly nice. That was just incredibly nice. Probably my favorite a name that kept coming up, a comparison that kept coming up, both in the chat last night and also in these emails, was a news analysis channel on YouTube called Beau of the Fifth Column, who I've been watching for years. So that felt like a compliment right there. His channel is enormous. I was sort of freewheelingly speculating yesterday what fun it would be to do a video with him and just ask him about books. Finally, get him off the beat. What has to be exhausting of covering the horrible news of the world. But then I thought, once I was done with that Steve stream, I thought, no, I wouldn't want to do that because if even a small fraction of his subscriber count decided they like the cut of my jib, the way so many viewers of his channel obviously like the cut of mine, I'd be swamped with subscribers. And my subscriber count is slowly crawling back up again after very healthily going down for a long time. So the last thing I want is to do that, even though that would be fun. But comparisons with him kept coming up over and over again. And a couple of you pointed out the same things, that he respects the intelligence of his audience, that he's talking directly to them, that it's obviously not a persona, that obviously if you talk to him on his porch, he would sound and talk exactly the same. And also, uh, uh, anyway, anyway, those similarities kept coming up over and over again. Those things, and people kept saying the nicest things about me, which yeah, I'm not making these videos in order to fish for compliments. I just wanted to get that out of the way. My favorite comment comparing or talking about Beau of the Fifth Column and myself came from I don't know if you're going to be in the chat, but one of you said that uh, one of you were listing the things that you think that we have in common. Those notes kept coming up over and over again. He respects your intelligence. He expects you to do the reading. He expects you to check him to see whether or not he's right. And also, one of you pointed out, he also gets a little touchy when he does the reading and he does the work and someone still questions him. And he will make a point of going back and saying, I was right. On this channel, I have equal opportunity to go back and say that I was wrong, particularly about Denis Villeneuve's interaction with Dune. But What my favorite comment comparing the two of us, at least on one level, that's such an incredible compliment. My favorite comment was someone saying that one of the things she likes in common about his videos and mine is that we have the same weird American accent. And I just went, "What?" Because to me, he sounds like Johnny Reb. To me, he sounds like a denizen of the deep South. To me, we don't sound anything the same. But of course, regional American dialects probably would sound exactly the same to a foreign enough ear. Anyway, I want to start off the video by saying I'm not fishing for compliments here, but the title of this Steve stream looks to something that we alluded to last night, which is the negative side of YouTube. YouTube just in general, not necessarily the negative side of BookTube. We will eventually have that Steve stream, but the negative side of YouTube. What is it that you don't like about YouTube? And judging by what you do like, I think I can probably guess. And it's really, really encouraging. It, the number one thing, the number one attractive quality of the YouTube channels that a lot of you said you watched, I've got 100 emails about this so far. So I have huge data sets to compare. And the number one quality that you all talk about is genuineness, which is again a pretty big implied compliment to me. But if that's true, that is a number one shared quality, the thing that will make you watch and subscribe, keep watching, then I can assume that the reverse is true, and that one of the main things that you don't like about YouTube that you watch is fakeness. But I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know how high up on the list that is. Also, proliferation of ads, proliferation of calls to action, of what when I'm feeling ungenerous, I would call money grubbing. Is the person constantly talking about their merch? Are they constantly talking about how supplies are running low? Get yours while supplies last, all that sort of thing. Are they constantly telling you to subscribe, check that you're subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, share the video far and wide, etc., etc.? I'm curious to know what aspects of broader YouTube you don't like. We talked last night about, in fact, it came up a few times in last night's Steve stream, and in a few of the emails that I've been getting, of people scorning the idea of hate watching a channel, of watching a channel specifically because you don't like it. But a lot of people also said that they do, that they do hate watch channels. So I'm curious to hear about all of that. And we can't go on for long tonight, so let's jump straight to the chat. We've already got 60 people here in 7 minutes, so let's see. Oh, the first name I land on is the Spaminator. A stream topic that is seemingly tailor-made for me. Whole bunch of other people in the chat saying hi. Wonderful. How wonderful to see you all. This Daniel Marlette. Oh, my number one dislike. Just joined the chat. Just kidding. Yes. When I talk about the things that you really, really hate about YouTube, I would expect the Spaminator's name would come up, but there must be other things you don't like. Nancy Nickerson. Well, hello there, internet people. It's Steve again, and today we're going to talk about. No, I just say hello, BookTube. I've been saying that before I had a BookTube channel. I said that on my first appearance on YouTube, on the BookTube channel of Chris Rhodes, who came to Boston to go to the Boston Public Library book sale, and we were in correspondence, so we met. And I got to say hello, BookTube. I don't know if that film clip still exists. I don't know if his channel is still up. But I would never pirate someone else's opening. Michael K. Vaughn is here. Good Lord. The number one thing I don't like is YouTube puts ads on my dumb videos. I've never seen an ad on your video. I hear that all the time. Well, you do too. We both hear that all the time. I hear from people saying they see ads on my videos. I don't see them, and I don't see any hint that they're there. You'd think they couldn't do that without. I'm not naive enough to think they couldn't do that without my permission, but you'd think they wouldn't be able to do it without me being aware of it. But I have never seen a hint of it. J. Scott Phillips says, I'm here for the hate, spite, and rancor, but staying for Steve. Nick Piccarilli, obvious clickbait titles is a quick way for me to unsubscribe. Well, I hope that's not referring to this Steve stream. I do want to hear about hate and rancor and spite. I really do. That is what this is about. But yeah, if you're talking about other channels, I agree completely. There was a fitness influencer. Oh, what was his name? He was gorgeous. Oh my God, I'm not remembering his name. He became briefly famous because he went all vegan. He had a fake name for YouTube, and I subscribed to his channel and watched. And John Venus was his name. That's right. It was John Venus, and I stopped watching him. His content did not change. I stopped watching him because he started leaning 115% into clickbait titles, and I thought, I'm seeing the title already. I already know it's a lie, and it's just annoying me that you would think so little of your viewers. But then again, a lot of the creators that we're talking about don't ever have any association with their viewers. That gap is enormous. That was another point that kept coming up about Bo the Fifth Column, that he's constantly talking to his community. And they do good works together. They raise money for hurricane survivors and whatnot. Uh, but anyway, Leo Percara, did you get attacked and doxxed for your Dune review? No, I haven't made a Dune 2 review yet. I didn't actually check, but I think the Dune 2 has been pushed back. I don't think that it's coming out until the fall. Is that right? I seem to remember that it was pushed back because one of the major principals, it might even be Timothée Chalamet himself, wasn't free to do publicity at the time of release, and that's all important. That is a huge factor. I think that's the case, but anyway, it's a long way off. That would be the thing that I would do. The only movie that I would be tempted to review now would be Indiana Jones, and that is already getting pilloried on YouTube, just pilloried, and rightly so. Uh, let's see here. But besides, I don't know. I mean, attacked, yes. I don't know what doxing would do. Yeah, everyone's welcome here for wine and calzones. So, let's see here. Teresa, hair flicking. OMG, there's a lot of hair flicking in the male and the female side. Siva Bronstein, I hate hosting styles like Chris Cuomo's. You're not talking to your children. Oh yeah, Chris Cuomo. You're not talking to your children. That's a good way to put it. That's a very good way to put it. And unfortunately, it's not restricted to news people, right? There are plenty of channels on BookTube, right here on BookTube, where the person is talking to children. They're talking to people that you may read, but you don't read anything like I read. I always, oh my God, that always dusts my doilies, because when I watch, I still do watch videos like that, and when I see somebody, won't name any names here, all their names came up on last night's Stevestream. When I see somebody take that tone, you may read, little Timmy, but you don't read like I read. I always want to say, in fact, sometimes I do say out loud to the screen, I'm at your reading against mine any day of the week and twice on Sunday, and I never take that tone. I wouldn't dream of talking to people that way. Yes, yes, you're not talking to your children. Yeah. Oh, the Spaminator's back. How lovely. Let's see what he has to say. This new water trick is shocking doctors everywhere. Things like that. Yes. Yes, you'll always see that. There's a spate of ads on videos now that's done with this weird mechanical AI voice. And they always have to position you as the maverick who is taking on an industry. Learn the shopping trick that grocery stores don't want you to know. Dentists are in a panic, as if the whole world is full of these colluding groups that are trying to bilk you. Oh, Randy Ray is here. Someone scolded me because they saw an ad on one of my videos. Obviously, I didn't have anything to do with that. Wow. Okay, this seems widespread then. Uh, and so it must happen on mine. Every time I ask if people see ads on my videos, some people, usually from overseas, will say they do. And I never see any hint of it. And the most 99% of the people at the same time will say no, they don't, and they never have. So Monet Doyle says hello. Excellent. Hello to you as well. 82 people here in 15 minutes. I may be creating a habit with you people. Julie Martin's responding to Nick Piccirilli, but I don't remember what he said. I was too busy flicking my hair. Deep in the reads. Everyone may have different standards for genuineness, though. Like, for example, I don't think asking people to like or subscribe instantly makes them insincere unless they really lay it on thick. I don't see how it couldn't be insincere to do that. I guess, no, that's not true. I do see how it could be sincere to do that, provided you are positioning yourself and have always characterized yourself as a show, as an entertainer. So the floodlights are on you, the house lights are down, you can't see the audience, and there's security in the proscenium. So if you see yourself that way, if you are Johnny Carson on a set, well, then it's not insincere for you to tell people to like and subscribe. But a lot of people sit down, take a big ostentatious swig of coffee or a soft drink, say, "Hey guys, how's it doing, fam?" They're very much cultivating the idea of that this is just a conversation, and yet they do it. Those things are insincere if you're trying to shoehorn them into what you are characterizing as a real conversation. Daniel Marlette is here. I really dislike how most current event videos feel the need to ratchet up people's anxiety for clicks. I have too many friends who live in constant state of fear. Yeah, yeah, the fear mongering is really good for eyeballs. Jenny Parks, last I saw, it was coming out in November. Was that Dune? November, that's a long way off. Good Lord. Jenny Parks, I could go see it for my birthday. NK Mandau, hello, Steve. Hello. Buchanan Books is here. Good Lord, I've got some big booktubers here. I hate live streams that are cash grabs, where viewers must pay to ask a question or have their comment read by the YouTuber. In a way, I understand why they do it, but I hate it. Oh my. Well, one foremost reason why they do it is money. Oh, good Lord. The sheer amount of money that a successful YouTuber can get from a live stream, where the super chats are the only things that they notice, and they don't read the super chats. They have mods. They have moderators working the chat. They don't see the chat. The moderators see the chat. They ignore all of it except for the super chats, and then they feed the super chats to the host. And sometimes not all of them. The money's already deposited. So it's revolting. Absolutely revolting. Wait, where'd you go? Daniel Marlett. So if I were to email you an anonymous P.O. box address, how much would it take for you to put that Dune 2 DVD in an envelope and accidentally drop it into the mailbox? What's a DVD, Grandpa? Please, Grandpa, tell us more. Tell us about the days when you fought at Agincourt. When the chat is over, I will Google whatever a DVD is. Cheryl Holzenbig, dust my doilies, you crack me up, Steve. And Novella is here. Good Lord, I've got some big booktubers here. Oh yes, I call live streams pickpocket streams. They are after your money. Well, not all of them. I'm certainly not after my viewers' money, since they are united in one thing and one thing only, and that is to completely ignore my struggling little Patreon. If every one of you dedicated $1 to my Patreon, I could quit working at the box factory. If my Patreon were bringing in more money, I could make 2 or 3 videos a day. Let's see here. Jenny Parks, Spaminator has to make up for missing yesterday. Yes, he was obviously spaminating somewhere else yesterday. A little bit disturbing to know that he spaminates behind my back. Graveyard Shift. Hi, Steve. Hope you and Frida are doing well. Yes, the bean is right here next to me. Sound asleep. She said, we've had a very contentious day because it's been raining on and off all day, sometimes downpouring. Actually, let's do Blob Watch. That right there. See that enormous blob right there? Look at that. See? There I am, right there. This blob just moved off. This one is coming. And there's no chance that all of this is going to miss Boston. So we're going to get slammed again with rain, probably tonight. Rain, maybe thunder and lightning. Then it looks like there'll be, that thing is huge. That's 2 or 3 states wide. So that thing is huge. That'll take a while to clear out. After that, I don't know. The whole week is saying a chance of thunderstorm. But anyway, I might visit the Brattle soon. Do you frequently see Penguin Classics or Oxford Classics there? Very seldom. But if you go to the Brattle, you must let me know. We must meet there. It's not the Brattle without Steve. Let's see here. Matt Sheridan. Hi, Steve. Happy Sunday to my fellow guys. Yes. I really need the streamer headphones. I really do. You people would crack up if you started a Stevestream and I had one of those on. I really do. If I'm going to mock the rest of YouTube, I might as well go whole hog. Let's see here. DTemple54. I have never seen an ad on your site. I watch everything you do every day. No, most people report that they don't. But Michael K. Vaughn says that he gets ads on his channel, even though he doesn't authorize it. Randy Ray's channel is much smaller than Mike's, and he gets them too. So, Daniel Marlett, I've never seen an ad on your channel. Michael K. Vaughn may have just fallen prey to capitalism. he has comics to buy. Well, Michael K. Vaughan has a real job. A job that, as you've seen, if you've been watching his channel, has kept him mighty busy. uh, let's see here. Randy Ray, fam. I just rolled my eyes so hard that it made a noise. The Spaminator wasn't here last night because I was wrestling. It was awesome. Big crowd. The booker paid me up front. I'll admit I was sad I missed the stream. Monet Doyle, I hate when booktubers say get exclusive content by joining my Patreon. Yes, yes, indeed. Some of them push their Patreon and their, what's the other thing? Channel membership. Some of them push that a lot. NK Mandel, speaking of hate, may I ask what the general point of the worst of and year-end lists are? Love them, but was just wondering, is it stay away from these overhyped books? Well, by the time I do my year-end, NK Mandel is referring here to the year-end list that I do on my website, stevedonahue.com, under the banner of Steve Reads, my old literary blog. I do a year-end summary of the books of the year. And by that point, I'm assuming that I'm too late to warn anyone off the books, although I guess that's not true. Plenty of people get to new releases, what I consider new releases, a year or even 2 years later. So yeah, in that sense, it is. If you have been listening, if you have taken my recommendations, the recommendations that fill the rest of those lists every year, and you have found them really trustworthy, well, then conversely, you can trust when I tell you that this book is a piece of junk and that you should avoid it. It's wanting a lot from you. It wants your time. It wants your energy. It wants your attention. It wants your money. It's not asking small things. You should deny it then. Michael K. Vaughan, I don't even know what a super chat is. No. Well, it's when you have if your channel's big enough and you have a huge chat, the chat just streaming by when you do a stream. People know in the stream that if there's that many people and the comments are flying by, unless the YouTuber is crazy enough to read every comment, and let's face it, that's not going to happen. Unless that's true, the people in the chat know that the host is never going to see their comment, much less respond to it. And so naturally, YouTube invented a way where you pay. You pay $5, $10, $100, $250. And it has a separate identification tag that the moderators of the chat will then know that you paid for a super chat, and that gets fed to the host, who does often read it on air. Sometimes not, though. Deep in the Reads, do you believe asking for comments is insincere too? If I were to ask viewers a question at the end of a video, for example, I'm small enough that I can still reply to everything. Oh, no. No. Asking for discussion is not insincere at all, unless you are absolutely not going to read it. And some channels, including some big booktube channels, they are absolutely not going to read the comments. So when they say, well, what do you think of that, guys? Guys, it's just to spark engagement. They know that the more comments they get on a video, the higher the algorithm will rate it. So they just ask for them, but they have no intention of reading them. They have never shown in years that they have ever looked at their comment section. So then it's insincere, but not otherwise. No, not if it's sincere. Oh, wait, I lost you. Where did you go? Read by Fred is here. Good Lord, lots of booktubers. Hi, folks. Happy upcoming 4th of July for our American friends. Tori reads, hi, Steve. I was wondering what you thoughts of Marvel killing off the Punisher in the comics. I heard they sent him packing in a brutal way. Twitter politics. The Punisher has been rife with Twitter politics for a while. They changed the famous skull logo because all cops are bastards, because ACAB. They've killed him off a few times. One of the times that he was killed, I really liked. I really enjoyed it. The artwork was done by John Romita Jr., in which the Punisher, who's just a man with a gun, he's just a man with guns. He faces off against the son of Wolverine, a dumb character, but still, and the son of Wolverine has a healing factor and adamantium claws, and he carves the Punisher up into mincemeat, just slices him to pieces. And John Romita Jr. does a really good job drawing it, really, really vivid job drawing it. But most of the deaths of the Punisher I have not enjoyed. Let's put it that way. Jenny Parks is responding to the Spaminator. We tried to summon you, but it didn't work. Randy Ray, I'm a patron. I think, maybe. Well, no. Why would you be a patron? Why would you be such a fashion bucker? Nobody pays any attention to my little Patreon. I swear, if all of you paid $1, I could quit working in the box factory. I could increase my video output because God knows you need money to make videos. So if each one of you contributed $1 to my Patreon, I might be able to make 2 videos a day. GeoCraftsman, do they not send critics screeners of DVDs anymore? What do they now? Email a code for download? Again with the DVDs. Boy, we've got lots of senior citizens here. I'm afraid of losing the chat, and I'm still doing Blob Watch. Look at the size of that thing just creeping towards Boston. Oh my God. It's just this big, huge blob of weather. This one is what we had all day. And this one is coming. I don't think there's any way that it can miss. And you can see those yellow spots in there. Some of that is pretty severe. That'll probably be here tonight. And then I thought there was one system more after that. Let's give it time for the satellites to catch up here. Let's give it time. Feed in those figures. See, it's loading. It says there, it's loading down at the bottom there. We won't expand out to the rest of the country. Just look at here, but look at that activity. But there's more. There's another system back here somewhere. It's not loading. Well, we'll give it a try here. But anyway, what was the? DVDs. Talking about electronic screener here. Okay, I'm not getting hardware in the mail, Gramps. Anyway, the Spaminator. No, I didn't win. I even cheated and everything. I've never seen ads on your channel. It's definitely a plus. You're a rare thing on YouTube in that you're cultivating a community rather than a revenue stream. Yeah, the one hesitation I have in embracing that completely is that some channels do both, legitimately do both. I'm not. Sometimes I might reflexively act like I think those two things are in inveterate opposition to each other, but that's obviously not true. Grandma Joe, hi Steve. It's cold here in Melbourne this morning, so I'm still in bed with my dogs. Oh my. Give your babies a kiss on the nose for me. Tell them their king says hi. Matt Sheridan, get the headphones and wear the Tim Pool beanie. The Tim Pool beanie strikes me as awful uncomfortable. And are we 100% sure that it isn't a big contributing factor to the fact that he went insane? But the headphones, the streamer headphones, definitely seem like I should do that. Deep in the reads about ads. Oh, wait, I lost you. Where did you go? Oh my God, there are almost 100 people here. Is that why I lost you? We were doing deep in the reads. Let's go back up here and find you. About ads, you can get ad block. I haven't seen ads on YouTube in years. True, you can get ad block. In fact, those of you who use Google Chrome has an extension for ad block that's free. It works just fine. You don't have to pay for ad block. Chrome, if you use Chrome as an OS, and you should, it's terrific. It's a security nightmare, but it's terrific. It has extensions like you wouldn't believe. There are extensions for everything. Let's see here. The Spaminator. How to read the Count of Monte Cristo. You've seen that one pop up in your feed yet? Satisfied your hate-watching desires? I think I have seen what you're talking about. Jenny Parks. I never try to read new releases as I prefer to wait for all the hype to die down. Luckily, I have a huge number of backlist books to keep me busy. Well, there's that. I realize what you're saying. You're saying that hype is inherently deceptive, and you are correct. But not every critic is susceptible to hype. Steve's year-end lists are infallible. M. I miss these being in the UK, finally catching a bit of one, but I'm off to bed. I've unsubbed to so many channels when it starts being about the money and inserted ads, especially Book of the Month. Yeah, in other words, when it starts being about the money, in other words, when it starts feeling insincere. Oh, wait, we have blob activity. Okay, so this thing has loaded. And you can see there's this thing headed for me, but there's still all of this. There's all this mess over here, including this big blob down here on the Gulf. Is all that going to come up here? It looks like it's all moving in that direction. We shall see. Let's see here. Aaron, I saw how to read Count of Monte Cristo video, and my first thought was start at page 1, word 1, and proceed accordingly. Siva Bronstein, only on this channel will you get an explanation of a super chat by a super chat. Why, yes, you are correct. Oh, Beautiful the Bar is here. Dude, I pestered and got James Ellroy's September book. Love it. Is he an author whose new book jumps to the front of your pile? Did you see he's abandoning his second LA quartet? No, I'm not a dude, bro. So I don't pester. He doesn't jump the queue. I don't follow the latest news. He's just a novelist to me. Damn good one, but just a novelist. It's not the same. It's not a religion for me. But, no, I didn't know that he was abandoning his second LA quartet, nor do I care. But I don't have a copy of the September book. I know that it's out there. I know people who do and who are asking me about it, but I haven't got one yet. I will, but Jared Henderson is here. All right, more YouTubers out here. Things I hate: blurry background on set, text on screen, list videos. But wait a minute. NK Mandel, I hate these genres of booktube. Tier ranking X, reviewing classics in one sentence. I read all the books recommended by X celebrity, Y fictional character. NK Mandel, it sounds like you have one particular booktuber in mind who never misses an opportunity to do any of those. Could you have one particular booktuber in mind? The Spaminator, they killed the Punisher, and no, it won't last. Don't worry, he'll get better. Matt Sheridan says the Punisher is pretty much a bore anyway. I agree, but we are in the minority when it comes to comic book readers. He's just a guy with a gun. My favorite comic book rendition of the Punisher. I love Johnny Romita's fight between him and Daken, between him and Wolverine's son. I thought that was terrific. But my favorite Punisher moment in all of comics is one that happens off stage. We don't even see it. in the 4-issue miniseries that George Perez draws, where the Justice League and the Avengers team up. At one point, when the teams are investigating parallel realities on each other's existence, Batman sternly warns the members of his team, remember, do not interfere. We are here to absorb. We're here to observe only. Do not interfere. And he and Plastic Man are saying that. He's telling that to his teammate when they're on a rooftop. Batman looks through a skylight and sees the Punisher mowing down a whole bunch of mobsters with a machine gun and jumps. He jumps through the skylight, and we don't even see it. All we hear is Plastic Man berating Batman later, saying, "You're the one who said we shouldn't interfere, and what do I get for my obedience to your dictate? You beating up on some loon in Kevlar for 15 minutes." Because, of course, the Punisher is just a guy with a gun. Batman fights 10 of those a day. So he would just beat up on the Punisher for 10 minutes. We didn't even see it. Let's see here. D Temple 54, Steve, do you know how the Library of America decides which authors to publish? Well, it's not me. It's not me. They don't consult with me. But no, they pick. It's a long list of reasons. Most of them are going off really good memories. There are in the steering and the picking committee, there are quite a few real serious readers. And they just remember, they just know so-and-so was great, is still great. They should be in here. There's very little in the way of box ticking or the progressive stack. There's very little in the way of that. And also, I mean, maybe foremost, it's a nightmare of copyright holding and whatnot. You know, there are a whole bunch of people, there are a whole bunch of names that people would automatically put in the Library of America, but they're tangled in copyright. J. Scott Phillips, Wolverine has a son. I've been away from comics too long. Has Franklin Richards ever grown up yet? No, Franklin Richards has not grown up, and Wolverine does have a son, yes. There's a great moment in Dark Avengers, I think, the great run of Dark Avengers, where the team, the Wolverine's son, Daken, is on Dark Avengers, and he mentions that Wolverine is his father. And everyone at the booth in the restaurant just goes quiet, because no one can really imagine a woman. But let's see here. Matt Sheridan, are you a fan of Ed Brubaker? Not particularly, no. I bet you can guess the reasons. Jenny Parks, Punisher and Constantine are my two favorite comic book characters. Pretty sure Twitter despises both of them, which only makes me love them more. Beth Hindy, hate the ads are getting longer, some without the skip buttons. Yeah, the skip button will be gone in a year completely. You won't be able to skip ads any more than you can do it on your TV. This is all trending in the direction of your TV. as I've been saying for years now, it's just taken longer than I thought. I thought it would be that everything on YouTube would be over by now. Amateur participation, I thought that would be over by now, and it's not. Uh, uh, but anyway, never see ads on your or Michael K. Vaughn's channel. Okay, great. Aaron, the worst current YouTube trend, quote, I did X for 30 days and this happened. I swear I've seen one that was called I read every day for 30 days and this is what happened. Yes, I've seen the algorithm has suggested a couple of those to me. I read a book every day and this is what happened. And I hate them too. Not only because they turn everything into a self-help fad. No stick-to-itiveness, no long-term dedication. Nothing like what you have all felt, which is that this has been a part of your life forever. Not only for that reason, but also because the person is obviously lying. The YouTuber who says they did X for 30 days is obviously lying. I don't know why they think. Actually, I do know why. I know why they think that they can make that convincing because almost everyone on YouTube thinks they're a good actor. When actually, there are very few actors, good actors in the world. Very few. There are very few good actors in the world, and none of them are on YouTube. So that's the reason they think that they can do this. They think, well, I'm going to shoot all of this in one day. I hate these people. The scum, as one British booktuber, a beloved British booktuber, vermin. Use the term vermin to describe his viewers. The YouTubers who do those videos hate their viewers. So they're not going to, I'm not going to do this every day. For Pete's sake, I'm getting $15,000 a month. That's all I care about. Now, I need videos to keep that going. I want the bump every once in a while. But I'm going to shoot all of these I did this for 30-day vlogs in one day. Come on. And they think, they've got a set designer, and a lot of them have a director, a video coordinator, whose job is to come up with all the tells. Is this thing, your house keys, are they sitting on the counter in one position in one part of your vlog, and then 2 days later you do another vlog, are they still there? Because if it's not a cup or a tray or something, if it's just a random placement, that's a dead giveaway that you're filming this 15 minutes after you filmed your last one. So most of them will hire somebody to make sure they catch those things, and those somebodies have never worked in the industry, so they're not very good at it. so the tells are everywhere. Anyway, where are we here? All right, let's Daniel Marlette. You mock my use of DVDs, but I still have a CRT TV to watch VHSs and play my Nintendo Entertainment System. Well, okay, I did mock you for using DVDs, but now I have a lot of other things to mock you for. J. Scott Phillips, Boston gets all too good blobs. How do I get a blob in California? Is that true? This is the blob situation for Boston. That one is leaving. That one was here all night and all morning. Downpours. This one is going to be even worse. You can see, because you can see the yellow highlights there, right? That means intensity. And as you can see, that is creeping closer and closer to my beloved Boston. Because here is Massachusetts. There's Boston right there. That's going to be big. We'll miss all of this. That's going up to Vermont and Maine. Deb has been complaining about the rain for days now. But the lower part here is still pretty intense. There are yellow highlights all throughout there. But let's take a look. Let's zoom out. Give the satellites time to recalibrate. We'll take a look at J. Scott Phillips. J. Scott Phillips says that he needs blobs in California. Oh my. J. Scott Phillips was not wrong. He does need blobs in California. Although you've got a little earthquake indicator there. But yeah, look at that. There is nothing there at all, and nothing coming either. Good Lord. You're on the wrong coast, bub. Read by Fred. Wow, that weather pattern looks like a heavy downpour. I hope all the work they did at Hyde Cottage keeps you dry. Well, one piece of work at Hyde Cottage is, as the kids say, problematic when it comes to downpours of rain. I think we are going to get downpours of rain tonight. And I recently had a strapping young friend whip off his shirt and install the AC units in 2 windows here. And one of the units that we just had them in there's an empty floor. We haven't rehabbed it. We haven't vetted for tenants yet. We haven't filled it yet. And we just brought up air conditioning units from down there. I cheered him on. But one of the ones that he brought up doesn't have those plastic side panels that you extend. So he put the thing in the window, and there's these two open spaces on either side of it. And I've sort of made an improvised blocking of those parts, but I need to do better than that, especially if we're going to get a lot of rain. It's a good thing that we're wrapping up this Steve stream at 10 past the hour because I need to attend to that. But we were talking about YouTube that we hate, the things we hate on YouTube. Let's see here. Siva Bronstein, are you able to talk about the time you crossed paths with Bill Maher? He would not remember at all. He's a twerp. That's it doesn't, the actual anecdote actually doesn't matter. He's just a twerp. And he's unbelievably vain. So I'm able to talk about it. Sure, it was just a thing that happened in a bookstore, obviously, my natural habitat for a quarter of a century. But he's just a twerp. He's not a serious person. So it bothers me that he is being egged on, or, megalomania is egging him on to think of himself as a serious social commentator. It's just, anyway. Ryan, hi, Steve. I am loving DeLillo's Underworld. What do you think about the changing from first to third person so often? He's a master of head hopping, and as a writer, am in awe. I believe it's a novel you like. It is a novel that I like. I don't like the writer tube term head hopping, but I get what you mean. But I like the book, and I am impressed by it. I'm glad that you're enjoying it, although that's an undertaking of a thing to read. Here, where we are. Aaron, I used to love Punisher when I was a kid. Punisher War Journal was great for a little 9-year-old me. Randy Ray, Steve, do you have an extra AOL disc you can send? I don't know why there are so many old people in my chat. Aaron, I missed your previous chat asking about viewer demographics. I'm 37 and live in Minnesota. Okay, 37 was definitely on the young side for last night. Daniel Marlette, oh yeah, AOL discs when you paid for the internet by the hour like a lady of the night. It was 30 years ago. Okay? It was 30 years ago. Ryan, Ad Blocker Ultimate and Firefox, also no ads in years. Read by Fred is responding to Daniel Marlette. The NES was awesome. I grew up in the SNES, which was super awesome. What's wrong with DVDs? Did I miss something? No, Grandpa, there's nothing wrong with DVDs. Nothing at all. But they're antiquated. People talking about me getting screeners from a friend. I have a friend who works in Hollywood, and she sends me screeners of everything. And someone in the chat was assuming that she was sending me DVDs in the mail, which she hasn't done since 1982 or something like that. Aaron, Steve met Bill Maher. Is Maher even more of a douche in real life? Yes, he is. That's the gist of the stupid story that I would tell. Randy Ray, I watched Ben's video today about the Count of Monte Cristo. Yes, how to read the Count of Monte Cristo. As someone put it earlier on, start at page 1, read the first word, proceed accordingly. Matt Sheridan says Bill Maher has become Grandpa Simpson. Aaron says, if Steve doesn't have an AOL disc for Randy, I think I can dig up an old Prodigy disc. Jenny Parks, don't worry. I add as many of the new Sci-Fi Channel Kindle versions that I can to my Steve fantasy wish list. Pretty thin year for that this year. So far, anyway. The genre is just in general. A pretty thin year. I'm going to have to, now that we're past the halfway point, I'm going to have to beef up my policing of the indie world, because that's obviously where the work is going to happen. A view from the bar. Picky with channel subscriptions. I feel a YouTuber is most authentic when, rather than ads, they splice their videos with no more than 3 or 6 creeping meteorology. I find it hard to I find it hard to believe that even someone who hate watches my channel would say that I am inauthentic. They might have a whole bunch of other things to say about me, and some of those things might be valid. But inauthentic, that this is an act, I find that hard to believe. Randy Ray, the Punisher is not just a guy with a gun. He's a guy with all the guns. Aaron, all the guns and a good helping of psychosis. There's no such thing as a good helping of psychosis. And what is that message about the Punisher always say? What does that always say? The mob killed his family, whether it's the Punisher or the Executioner or even Batman. The mob killed his family, and he is on a one-man quest for vengeance. What does that say? What does that say to the people out there whose families were killed? or whose families died in a car accident or a home fire. If you're not dedicating your life to a mission, then you mustn't grieve. There's an A level, super giga chad level of grief. Anyway, uh, Randy Ray, Wolverine has a son, one he knows about anyway. Aaron, Wolverine seems like the type who would have a brood of estranged sons spread around the world. Well, yeah, unless we're talking about the mechanics of his healing factor, in which case he would have no sons. Let's not, we don't have to get into the weeds on this at all. The Spaminator, favorite Punisher comic, has him going to a particular prison on purpose that is housing some of the mob bosses that caused his family's death under the Max imprint. Extreme comic in every way. I almost never bought Punisher. I would do it if John Romita Jr. was drawing it, then I would buy it, but usually not. I do remember one issue that a friend of mine made me read where the Punisher goes to the dentist, and it turns out the dentist and the nurse are plants of the mob. They strap him to the chair and they're going to torture him with their implements. And a friend of mine thought this will be worth a laugh for you to read this, and I thought the same thing. I had the same reaction that he did, which is that this is indistinguishable from the dentist anyway. Let's see here. NK Mandel, I think YouTube is alive because of amateur participation. It offers something that TVs, movies, other such media doesn't, and that's what draws people in. I don't think the numbers would bear that out. I've been saying this for years. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. I think that the top 1,000 channels, all of whom are heavily monetized, most of whose creators are extremely wealthy, I think they pull in enough people to keep the platform going. And those people are perfectly willing to pay. This, what we're all doing, is, community access TV. It shouldn't exist on a platform like YouTube. I'm amazed that it still does. A channel like mine, where I don't make YouTube any money at all, except passively. I don't try to make money for them at all. I don't do anything to increase revenue. They're assuming that I will want to do that because any efforts that I make to increase their revenue will increase my revenue. So they just assume that everybody will want to do that. It amazes me that once they realize that there are some people who don't want to do that, those people don't get the boot. Aaron says, the beloved British booktuber called his subscriber Vermin. Name, Steve. That was years ago. Yep. Walls have ears. Steve knows all. And this person still makes videos and is warm and cuddly. And the comment section that he never looks at, filled with people he actively hates, the comment section is full of warm and loving. Oh, this is so wonderful. I love this community. He hates you. This is the furthest thing in the world from a community. He doesn't even think you're human. Anyway, View from the Bar finished Big Little Lies this week, and its climactic plot twist was the first time I gasped over a book in years. How did you feel about it? What's your favorite plot twist? Well, you're asking all sorts of in the weeds questions, aren't you? Well, yeah, you're asking all sorts of in the weeds questions. Is that because you hate me? Because you think I smell? You won't Voxer with me? I can't go on your podcast? Big Little Lies? What's that? Steve, looks like the Twin Cities will get some rain. Well, are we calling for a blob update so soon after A View from the Bar has poked up his head? Let's take a look. There are scattered storms over here. Most of this activity is on the eastern seacoast, just sort of slowly moving this way. Mainly this thing. This huge concentration here. That is big. That is big, and that is nearby. Lucky that we're closing at 10 past the hour, because that would be a big deal. I need to get these huge doorways on either side of the air conditioner fixed. Let's see here. Copycat Chiller says, hello, Steve. Hello. Daniel Marlette, I'd love for you to accidentally say hello, vermin at the beginning of the video. Duncan McCurdy, the ads added by YouTube are less annoying than the product placements, especially when the whole video exists only to advertise Blinkist. Yes, Blinkist or short form, and done specifically to get around ad blockers. That's the whole point of an in-video personalized ad, is that you can't block it. You can't get out. You can maybe the creator, if they have some vestige of goodwill towards their viewers, maybe they'll timestamp things. And you can always go to, the fast forward bar and just see when they stop making their sales pitch to you. But even if you can skip it, to me, that fatally torpedoes your credibility on any subject, because you're not just running an ad. What are YouTubers always say? Well, I don't know what ads run on my channel. I'm doing a partnership program with YouTube. I don't get to pick the ads. I can maybe flag one that I don't want, but I don't know what you're watching. It's not like I'm selling you a car or a VPN or anything like that. It's a totally different story if you're doing a commercial in your own video. Then you are a salesman. Then you are pitching something. Whether it's a square foot plot of land where you get to be a titled noble or whatever it is. And when I see something like that, I say, I know those are sweeter deals. I know that the creator gets a lot more money for those, but they immediately make me think, all right, well, which is it then? Are you talking to me about the latest news from, the Trump indictment scandal, or are you selling me a VPN? Which is it? And I roll my eyes when those YouTubers say, as they inevitably do, I wouldn't do this kind of an in-video ad if I didn't really mean it, if I didn't really believe in the product I'm pitching to you. Anyway, uh, let's see here. Jenny Parks, Blinkist pisses me off. You can read a book by getting only highlights. Wait, where'd you go? Aaron was next. I spotted Aaron. Let's move on here. Where are you? Oh my God, look at all these comments. God help us. Oh, there we go. Okay, Steve, do you have a recommendation for a radar app? The My Radar, Matthew Capucci's app, My Radar, is terrific, absolutely terrific, and free. I mean, it's got, as you can see from my blob watch, it's got ads on it, but you just ignore those. It's got a banner on the bottom and a block on the top there that's mercifully blank there, but it's terrific, and it's got all these layers at the bottom that you can use to sort your information. It's really good for that sort of. I use 2 or 3 different radar apps, especially the ones that have pressure gradient lines, so that I know how seriously to take something, whether the likelihood that it's going to evaporate overnight or whatnot. Aaron, Blinkist is for self-help books. Bloated garbage. Also can't stand reaction videos, says Nick Piccarilli. Yeah, reaction videos, just so amazing. It's so amazing. Jenny Parks is responding to Aaron. Only self-help. I thought they did other books too. They do other books. Mostly self-help. Mostly the kind of stuff that BroTube productivity grind set grifters pitch anyway. But they have all sorts of other things. Toy Story 111. Hi, Steve. I've been looking at Asimov's Shakespeare Guide, and isn't it a delight? It is a delight. It is a delight. Every time I see it, the big brick of the thing at the Brattle, I always think, for $1, I should probably grab this. But then I think, it's a delight, and I've loved it, and I've loved handing it to students. But I would never look at it myself. I would never look at it myself. I know it really well. I would never. It takes up room on a shelf. I just always pass on it when I see it. Although your comment is probably going to make me pick it up the next time I see it. Ruby Taylor, hey Steve, I haven't been able to contribute before, but I've been keeping up. I'm 24, from Sydney, Australia. I get my books from the library mainly. 24, good for you. But Australia, bad for you. The impression I've had from years on BookTube is that Australia is a uniquely, weirdly anti-book country. Is that your impression? The impression that I get is that they not only don't have a literary culture, but scorn the very idea of it. And oh my God, the price of books in Australia. I'm wondering how hospitable you find it. Do you know other readers in Sydney? N.K. Mandel, demographics, 21, male, India. Oh my. Okay, wonderful. Fantastic. 21 in India. I don't know if you've ever told me where in India you live, but do you have other young friends? And do they all watch me? They all should. The Spaminator. I honestly hate most of YouTube. I hate being lied to, and I feel like most of YouTube is lying to me. That was going to be one of my main points before, as usual, the chat hijacked me and the Blob Watch hijacked me. I was going to make a point about honesty, because that was a common thread in emails that I got on this subject last night as a response to yesterday's Stevestream. I got lots and lots of comments from people saying the number one saying or implying that the number one yardstick that determines all of this is the instinct of whether or not you are being used, whether or not the person is sincere. Uh, Aaron responding to Jenny Parks, they do all kinds of books. Yes, they do. Connor, I can't stand all these bad comedians like Mar who think that they're George Carlin when they're neither as intelligent nor as eloquent as him. Yeah, they all want the mantle. Yeah, they all want, especially that one clip. They'll all tell you that they never missed a show of his. They often missed shows of his. But there's one YouTube clip of his in particular, watched how many millions of times, and watched over and over again until they can memorize it, but by a lot of these wannabes, of Carlin talking about the world, how it's a big club, and you ain't in it. That whole bit of his is inspired. I admit it's pretty much letter perfect, and they all worship that bit. They all want that of their own. Jenny Parks says to Aaron, so it's okay to use. I just assumed it was crap use what they were doing. If you're talking about Blinkist, it is crap. Yes, there's no substitute for reading. Anyway, the vegan heretic. Well, I was going to start fair, stood the win for France, but I guess I'm watching Steve now. Steve, did you like any Irmgard Kuhn? I recently read Child of All Nations. May get after midnight soon. I don't know that I know that name. Do I know that name? I must. I've probably had that on my channel. I did. It's drawing a blank right now. The Spaminator. I was poor and didn't have the internet when AOL discs were showing up in the mail. They made good frisbees, especially since we couldn't afford frisbees. Let's see here. Jenny is responding to Aaron. Spaminator, no healthy dose of psychosis. I would beg to differ, sir. Randy Ray, I enjoyed Garth Ennis's run on The Punisher. Oh, I didn't. At all. Not at all. Let's see here. Daniel Marlette. Yesterday, I got a pile of Weird Tales magazines from the late 80s and early 90s. Half are still in plastic. They were mailed in. I'm so excited. What a find. I wonder who's in there. I don't know Weird Tales from that late in incarnation. I wonder who's in them. Any recognizable names? The Spaminator is responding to Jenny Parks. That's the only way to get a healthy dose. Matt Sheridan, the Punisher logo has become a calling card for real-life sociopaths and potential mass shooters. Yes, it has. The number one objection to it among comics, blue-haired censorship alt-left creators is its association with the police. With it showing up on cop cars, cop calling cards, cop hats. That's their number one problem with it, is that the association with police and by extension rogue police. Randy Ray, if I were to make a Punisher movie, I'd follow the same beats as John Carpenter's Halloween, with mobsters instead of babysitters and Frank Castle instead of Michael Myers. Daniel Marlette, oh my, based on the sounds outside, the blob is over my house. Yes, I was just about to comment that rain is starting to hit the windows here. We have 10 minutes to go until 10 past the hour, and then I really have to rain-proof that window. Right now, it is not rain-proof, and this could get really bad. This blob has bright yellow highlights in it. The Spaminator, Randy, responding to Randy. Jenny Parks is responding to Randy. Deep in the reads, YouTubers who don't monetize still make YouTube money through clicks, selling information, and helping to keep traffic coming. I think it's hard to avoid giving websites money while you use them. True. It's hard to avoid it completely, but it is easy to avoid collaborating actively. Siva Bronstein, I like Scott Bradfield's BookTube channel for his sincerity and quirkiness. I don't think I know his BookTube channel. Scott Bradfield. Is that what he calls it? I don't think I know his channel, under his name anyway. View from the VAR, when our dog gets super excited, greeting us when we come home, he sometimes curls his lip, bares his teeth, though he's insanely happy. Marie thinks he's imitating our smiles. What say you? He's not imitating your smile. Some dogs have that reaction. There's one in my neighborhood, little Nugget, who does the exact same thing. He doesn't do it with everybody. Most people he just ignores, but he doesn't ignore me. When he sees me coming, he does the same thing. He bares his tiny little white teeth in the front, squints his eyes, and bares his front teeth. And then goes nuts on me because I squat down to catcher's position, and he just goes nuts, slurping my face while Frida just stands there going, "What on earth? What are you doing?" But no, it's not imitating a smile. No, That's a primate thing. Anyway, Matt Sheridan. Oh, wait, where'd you go? Oh my God. Look at all these. I'll never get through all these comments. Uh, I was responding to Chief Bronstein. Okay. Chris Am just had a nasty round of thunder and lightning with 30-mile-per-hour winds in northern Georgia, northeast Georgia. Yeah, that storm is coming this way. Apparently, according to Alex, I have shown the blob too many times, so I'll refrain from doing so. But, NK Mandel, I use this product myself all the time. Trust me, guys. Yeah, those people are blatantly lying, just blatantly lying. Aaron, I love the one that you'll see on YouTube now. What's his name? Jake Paul. Logan Paul's even dumber, even more evil brother is doing he got paid just a gigantic sack of money for some sort of video game that he obviously doesn't know. He's obviously has never seen it before. He obviously doesn't play it. It's some third-rate Kmart video game, and there he is. Hey guys, this is great. Aaron says, I love the videos that came out a while back revealing how totally fraudulent the Scottish lordship titles were. Yes. And before that, I don't know if you remember, there was this kind of a web-based call-in, not meet in person psychotherapy session. What was that called? We Help? No, not We Help. But I don't know if you remember, but that was a scam before that, is that it was revealed to be grossly inappropriate, grossly unprofessional, grossly damaging. And every booktuber was pumping that thing. All of them were approached. All of them took the deal. That's exactly, and it wasn't just for ads. It was for them to talk about it and lie that they use it. And they were all implicated. That went all the way to the top. That went all the way to Philip DeFranco. And that's the risk you run when you do stuff like that. It's just, Michael Lombardo, hello, Steve. Noticed a new Jeff Shar book at Barnes & Noble this week. Are you reviewing? I will not be reviewing it, no. Maxim Stedich, I'm 20. And as someone who's grown up alongside YouTube, I have incredibly conflicted feelings about it. I loathe what social media is doing to us. For the summer, I'm only watching BookTube. And not all of BookTube either, I'll bet. Duncan McCurdy, was this stream sponsored by Big Radar? Steve It's great, guys. I use it myself. That blob is now over Boston. Rain is now hitting the window. So that has happened in real time. Ruby Taylor, I used to watch the true crime side of YouTube. Over the years, I've just been seeing it more as exploitation rather than anything else. Now it's gross to me. Aaron says, Big Radar, I've been had. I did have Matthew Capucci on this channel. So the Spaminator reaction videos are hilarious. There is no way in hell this is the first time you've heard Bohemian Rhapsody. Right. That's what I mean. Is that the only reason these people try this is because they think they're good actors, and they aren't. So they will do, first time watching Hunt for Red October, and the thumbnail will be, and it's not the first time you've seen Hunt for Red October. Obviously, it's not. Jenny Parks, oh yes, everyone kept promoting established titles, and as a Scot, I kept thinking, own a Scottish land doesn't automatically get you a title, or half the country would be lords and ladies. I forget what the earlier scam was, that communal psychology thing, where you call and you get a psychiatrist, they will help you. And every YouTuber did an in-video personal ad touting that thing, and they all told the lie that was in the script. Which in the script, it was told, we will give you your bag of money, but you have to say that you use this product. You don't have to use it, but you have to say that you do. And they all did. Anyway, Aaron, your description of Australia's attitude towards books is what I recall Lee Child saying about UK attitudes. He was saying that America is more literate, clear pandering. More literate than the UK? I don't know that I believe that, but I've heard it from many Australians myself over the years, that very same thing about Australia. So I'm less likely to dismiss it. Tolstoy 111, George Carlin today would be obliterated by moralizing scolds. He'd never get a booking. Daniel Marlett, books of the century just arrived in the mail. You somehow keep getting me to spend money like most YouTubers strive to do. You just don't get a cut. No, I don't get a cut of any kind. I don't get anything at all. I post a little reminder, a little pointer to my struggling little Patreon on every video. Don't know why I bother. The Spaminator, they retired George Carlin's jersey, irreplaceable, don't try. Aaron, George Carlin's use of rhetorical principles was masterful. He would write his stand-up and memorize it verbatim. I didn't know that. That's interesting. I believe that. Where did you go? Oh, there we go. Tolstoy 111. When reading literary slash cultural criticism, if one sees the term decolonize, is it fair to roll one's eyes and exit said text with all due haste? Yes. Yes, it is an absolutely compromised term. Matt Sheridan, what are your thoughts on the new Superman castings? Yeah. One pouty mouthed, pretty boy, pint sized tobacco addict is much the same as any other. The proof will be in the pudding. We shall see. Deep in the reads, George Carlin was more obliterated by moralizing scolds in his own time. He was literally thrown in jail several times. Censorship has always been an issue. The goalposts just shift. Okay. Daniel Marlette, Wheel Tales from the 80s, 90s contains Ramsey Campbell, F. Paul Wilson. F. Paul Wilson, I would predict. T.E.D. Klein, Tanith Lee, Turtle Dove, Clive Barker. Michael Lombardo, sounds like you're battering down the hatches. Enjoy the storm, Steve. Oh, if only I were battening down the hatches. If this were a 25-foot, live-in sailboat, then I would know exactly what to do. I would now know exactly what to do. I have no idea how to fix the panels on an air conditioner, for Pete's sake. It doesn't actually have the panels at all. The machine is in the window, and then there are these open spaces that I need to somehow make, ship-shape, to use it to extend the metaphor. Jenny Parks, I just got notification about reaction to Kathleen Kennedy getting fired. Maybe Star Wars and Indiana Jones can now be saved. I don't think so. I think we're talking about institutional capture. I know that it's very tempting. It's certainly the boat that every alt-right neck-bearded fascist on YouTube has jumped on, to say that she is a Sith Lord, that she is the person doing all this. But she couldn't do this without an institution. And Disney and Paramount, Hollywood has been completely institutionally captured. Like I mentioned in an earlier Stevestream, the only thing that would break that would be what we're seeing, which is for the population to just abandon Hollywood. Just completely. If they see that sort of thing and they don't like it, so they decide, this has been going on for years. I thought it was a fad. Now I know that it's a company policy, so I'm not going to give the company my money anymore. They're going to give me something like Top Gun Maverick, or I'm not going to watch. I have plenty of alternatives. So if that is what's happening, the last 5 major Hollywood offerings, all bombing, all at the same time, all in the same season at the beginning of summer, that is about as much of a red flag. That's about as much of a warning klaxon as you can get in the industry. So maybe that will do it, but it won't. It can't be just her. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Ruby Taylor, interesting about Australia being anti-reading. The cost of books is atrocious, but so is everything else at the moment. Our public library services are awesome, so that lessens the blow. I want to learn more about the library system in Australia. This is 2 or 3 votes now in this chat alone for it being great. That's fascinating. It almost never comes up. Aaron says, Kathleen Kennedy got fired. Well, we were talking about how we watch YouTube, right? Jenny, BetterHelp, yes. Jenny Parks and Aaron both say BetterHelp, yes. BetterHelp was this thing. An absolute scandal. An absolute scam. And every single YouTuber that promoted it read the script. I'm not castigating them for having, an ad on their video. That's one thing. So you have an ad in one of your ad rolls for NordVPN, and then NordVPN has a huge and obvious data breach, so they weren't a good VPN. If they were just an ad on your channel, you're not compromised. But if you read their script, then you are. And I saw so many YouTubers who read the script for BetterHelp. They didn't just say, this might help you. They said, it helped me. It absolutely did not. They were lying. They didn't use it. And the reason I know that is because how many dozens of them came on and said, that was just a script. I'm not implicated. I don't want to be sued by you for the fact that you got, a pedophile on the phone or something like that, a totally unvetted, unprofessional person who gave you damaging psychological advice. BetterHelp. I don't know how the channels, all those channels, I don't know how they recovered from it. I don't know. I watched carefully to see whether or not even one big YouTube channel that pushed BetterHelp and lied about using it would, subsequent to its destruction, stop doing in-video personal ads, and none of them stopped. None of them did. The money must be outrageous because they're opening themselves up to being embarrassed again. Anyway, Rhonda Cooper says, "Who's the booktuber that chats like you, Steve?" What do you mean? Who are we talking about here? I'm missing the context there. Chris Bianchi, hey Steve, what's your favorite film with a dog? I have a hard time watching films with dogs because they're usually too sad. I don't think I have a favorite film with a dog. Thank you very much. Aaron, Philip Franco annoys me. Why? Oh, talk about YouTube royalty. You're not allowed to be annoyed by Philip DeFranco. Jenny Parks is responding to Aaron. Not sure. Just saw video notifications. I'll be watching it as soon as this stream is over. This stream is ended. Look at that. We're past 10 past the hour. We'll start to wrap this up. I'm just not going to get to all these comments. That's all. Aaron, Steve, if I started a booktube channel, will you do a buddy read with me for Garb August? Don't see why not, unless you pick something I don't want to read. NK Mandel, I'm based in Hyderabad. Oh my, goodness gracious. Oh my. Okay. So you have lots of young male friends who want a super hottie to watch on YouTube. Randy Ray, Aaron, if Steve won't, I will. Oh, sounds like we've got the makings of a buddy read, don't we? Let's see here. Oh, I lost the chat again. Here we go. Lou G, I've seen some of the reaction channels get tons of happy mail from viewers. I don't get it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's not just the reaction channels. Reading the comments fields of channels that are obvious frauds is a real eye-opening wake-up. Copycat Chiller, I picked up a copy of Orlando yesterday and Hangsman by Shirley Jackson today. Wow. Good choices, both of them. Let's see here. Randy Ray says I'm probably going to launch my own reaction channel soon. Let's see here. Randy Ray reacts to the literate text reacts to the dumbest popular YouTube trends. Chris Bianchi, is The Quiet Man a favorite film of yours? What's your favorite John Ford film? The Quiet Man is a favorite film of mine. It is probably my favorite John Ford film. Matt Sheridan, have you watched any more of Lex Friedman? Yes, I never miss him. I've worked my way through almost all of his back catalog. Fizzle Beef, BetterHelp doesn't even employ certified therapists. No, it doesn't. The Spaminator, in regards to Star Wars and indie, I just stopped watching. I don't pay attention to new releases in any industry. I know it's going to suck. I know it's going to shove politics at me instead of entertain. You wouldn't be wrong about indie. The new Indiana Jones movie. Anyway, Aaron, the institutional capture of Hollywood et al. Is due to ESG, environmental social governance investing. Companies get graded on how well they promote those three areas, and funds invest accordingly. Yeah, I totally believe you, but funds can't invest in a movie that's gone in a studio that's gone belly up. There is no way to cut the paying consumer out of this equation. They are the basis of this equation. Without them, you don't have anything, and that will happen if you are alienating your viewers. They have plenty of other alternatives. The Vegan Heretic. Kuhn was a German writer. Her books were banned by the Nazis. On my mind, because of BookTube at war. I wouldn't have dared asking, have you read question. Aaron, Disney is chasing investor money, not customer money. Investor money won't keep them afloat. Investors don't care about investors aren't going to invest in a movie studio that doesn't have customers, that nobody watches. There's no way to cut the customer out of the equation. I know that the people who have institutionally captured Hollywood have dreamed openly. They've spoken openly on camera and on audio in board meetings about doing just that. They hate the customer. They want to cut them out of the equation. There's no way to do that, though. Sam M. Hi, Steve. The Thin Man is a movie with a great dog. The Blob is coming to Nova Scotia. Aaron, damn, for Garb August, I was going to ask you to read The Passage. Not a chance. NK Mandela, How Green Was My Valley is my favorite Ford. Daniel Marlette, have a good night. Get back to watching The Blob. I don't need to watch The Blob. It's here. It's here. It's raining heavier and heavier by the minute as I do this. So we really need to wrap this up. Let's see here. Chris Bianchi, is Yellowface and Page Boy overrated new releases? Well, I guess you'll have to wait for my year-end list. To put it mildly, they'll both be on it. Tim's Too Many Books. Ford's She Wore Yellow Ribbon is a guilty pleasure. There's nothing guilty about She Wore Yellow Ribbon. It's a great pleasure, not a guilty pleasure. Connor, based on your thoughts on indie, I would assume you're not a big fan of Phoebe Waller-Bridge's Fleabag. Uh, I'm not that big a fan of Fleabag, but that's not the connection. Fleabag is just not my cup of tea artistically, aesthetically. What I'm not a fan of is Fleabag decks Indiana Jones for his own good. Uh, anyway, Chris Bianchi, my favorite Ford film is Grapes of Wrath. Matt Sheridan, I love John Ford. My favorite from him is The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Yeah. And The Searchers, Randy Ray says The Searchers. Matt Sheridan, also My Darling Clementine is such a great film, too. Rudley, as a Hollywood resident, I've also been institutionally captured. uh, let's see here. Fizzlebeef says Yellowface is overrated. That's one word for it, sure. But I am at the end of the comments here. There are 100 people here. It feels weird to turn my back on that since this is so much fun. But I actually do have to go. I actually do have to wrap this up. It is starting to pour rain here. I think the rain is going to get a lot more intense. I think there might be some thunder and lightning in here. So I have to, as one of you put it, I have to batten down the hatches here. But what can I say? I mean, this was absolutely wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Uh, what are we doing here? Uh, Aaron says it says everything that Waller Bridges projects are always promoted with reference to Fleabag because she's done nothing of note since. D Temple 54 says John Ford, The Cavalry Trilogy. Kevin JN, Fleetwood Mac rumors, deep dive in music today. Oh, really? Oh my, we haven't even talked about music. I'm afraid my deep dive for today, pretty much unavoidably, it's just been an ironclad grip has been Queen. I don't know. Oh, actually, I do know why. I started the morning every day with a complete blank slate for the earworm in my mind. And I was walking Frida, and a car drove by that was playing Fat Bottom Girls, the great Fat Bottom Girls. And when I heard that, boom, I was back in the 70s, and now I haven't been able to get Queen out of my mind all day long. But yes, it is time to rack up. Everybody sing Goodnight Vermin. I am not referring to you people as vermin. That was someone else, a booktuber who is beloved, absolutely beloved, uh, who did that. But I am not absolutely beloved, and I am not calling you vermin. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much. We did cover the subject, but we can do it again. We can do this again. So to talk a little bit more about YouTube, maybe in the meantime, to give you a homework assignment, maybe think a little, take a look at your subscriber list on YouTube. Maybe you haven't done that in a while. Maybe take a look at what you watch and what you like and don't like so that you can come prepared. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. This was wonderful, but I have to go. But I will see you soon. Thank you all, you vermin.